Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Unstoppable Life with Verna Hayward live show. We are so glad to have you here with us. And today is what day is this? I think it's our 28th day. Isn't that awesome? So we are really, really glad to be here with you today again. And we want to thank you for your presence. Want to thank you for us being here with you. And for today's live, we are going to be talking about steps to encourage an abuser to seek help. Because most time we don't know what to do, and when people ask you what to do, you don't know. So we thought we will bring that to you. Carolina and myself will bring that to you. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about it. So we want you to feel encouraged that you can have some tools in your toolbox that you can talk to them about, but in a sensible way. You have to have the right, like everything else, you have to have the right momentum. So once again, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world looking at us. We appreciate you being here with us. And as I said, my name is Verna Haywood, and I am the founder of the Unstoppable Life. And I do have a program called the Unstoppable Resilience, 3 powerful practices to take your power back. And I use different methods to really help you to build your resilience. For example, we'll use the gap um, method so that you know where the gaps are and how we're going to get you there, how you're going to get that transformation that you need to help you to build resilience and to maintain that. But also, we're going to look at the grow model as well. So, we're going to look at different methods and how we can do that, not just on insight, because insight alone would not give you everything, it would not give you that lasting transformation that you need. So we want to really go in depth when you're talking about coaching or training. And if you want to talk about it, so I work with what? With women who have been through abuse or who are going through it and not sure how they're going to get out of it. If you have experienced breast cancer and you need somebody to speak to, then I am here. The whole purpose of this 30-day challenge was to bring to you um, information that you can use. And I'm really glad for the feedback that we are getting. You know, some of you are looking at it and trying out some of the recipes. Some of you are looking at it and saying, you know, how informative the program is on abuse, how informative it is. And we do appreciate that, because your feedback lets us know whether what we are telling you is going to be really helpful. And that's the whole purpose. We want to create a community where you can feel safe, when you can feel safe to speak to about any issues, and you have somebody there who can give you a hug, whether you're distant or near. We can give a virtual hug. And once that hug is genuine, then you are going to feel it wherever you are. So let me bring on Carolina, and then we can then dive into the subject, steps to encourage an abuser to seek help. Hello, Carolina. Come on in. There you are.
Hi. Oh my God, I've lost you guys. Give me a minute. It's
Uh,
logged me out. Oh, there we go. Hi. Hello.
hello, hello, hello. Yes, you
Hi.
are on.
I'm live. Hi. Hi. Yes,
Yes.
my name is Carolina Ceballos. I'm a life and business coach. We've been working together with Verna on very specific subjects that are very unspoken about. And today's subject in particular is something that is very dear to us both, something that we've both experienced, and something that we help friends, family, and our clients with. We have had have had to deal with this ourselves. And today this was a very touching subject that I thought, we've spoken about what to do if you're if you've been abused, but what do we do about those people that have been the abusers, that have hurt us, and that want to change? Because there is some people that have decided to make a change and change their lives. I know that we blame a lot of people. We really we think that there's people that's never going to change. That is the case for most people, but I know and I've experienced myself abusers that have come full circle and have a better life and created a better life for themselves and their family. And that's something very close to my heart with what we do with Bespoke Me, where we help families, especially single parent households, have a more happier and balanced life, so that it's not only their emotional well-being that's taken care of, and obviously making things better physically, but also for the whole family as a whole. And obviously that covers body, mind, and soul, which is the subjects that we have been touching with Verna. So thank you, Verna. Go ahead.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And it's such a, I think it's a really good subject for us to bring, because it's not only going to help the person, but it's going to help you, the individual, as well. So, understanding the type of support will make life a bit healthier and make the environment a bit safer. So, as we go into this, it is complex, and we know that you have to have an approach that is going to be carefully designed, because it is sensitive. Um, and as Carolina says, you don't want to come across as blaming. We tend to like blame, and that could anger the person. So you don't want to cast any blame. So you have to choose the right place at the right time, because it is a challenging conversation. A challenging conversation. So you want to express your concern, not blame, but you want to express your concern without assigning blame. Carolina touched on that. So we really want to emphasize that you want to express your concern about their attitude or behavior, whatever it is you're going to do, but without assigning blame. So we want to provide helpful resources and support. When you have helpful resources and support, then you have a goal, a practical with practical strategies, and you want to have compassionate advice that is really going to help you to encourage the person. So today, throughout the talk, we are going to be talking about, I think, Carolina, where she is, her network probably is not working very well. So today we want to talk about choosing the right time. So you want to choose the right time.
Oh, there
Yeah,
I
so
am.
we want that's okay. So we want to choose the right time and place, as we said. You want to express your concern. So we're going to talk about these, and we're going to want to provide information that on impact, and offering resources. So you want to encourage professional help, and setting boundaries. We spoke about that in some of our talks before, setting boundaries and follow up. So I was just outlining while the internet took you offline, that we were going to discuss these different areas, about choosing the right time and place, and expressing concern and care. So we want to talk about these different things. So do you want to start on, choosing the right place and time? How are you gonna, choosing that?
Yes, I mean that's something really key. I think I don't know if you've already mentioned, just obviously the before even having this conversation, the first thing is to be safe yourself first. That obviously it's a safe environment, it's a safe place for you to have these sort of conversations. To to have already done the steps that we already discussed in the previous video, as the person that is either being abused or as the family member of the person that wants to help the abuser. So that's firstly the key to be safe, and then obviously finding the right place to do it is it's second to none. To actually have a where you feel safe. So if it's your home and you're going to be locked in one room, and you're going to be speaking to this abuser, it's probably not going to be the right environment,
Yeah.
because you're already apprehensive, you're already scared, and you've got nowhere to go or run, or if things do change, if things don't go the way you think. So obviously, is maybe already speaking to family members or speaking to the public, where in a public space or in a space where if things were to go wrong, you are able to leave and get safety first.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be in a public place, but make it private. Don't,
In a pri
have
No, no,
shouting.
not in a public,
Yeah.
not in the middle of the park, not in the middle of the park, not in a crowded plaza either. No, 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 no. Yeah, it has to be
Yeah. Yeah.
a private
We
area,
want,
somewhere where you're safe. Yes, that's
yeah, we
exactly
want to, we want to make sure you're not in a, yeah, in private, but in the public, but private at the same time. So you don't feel that no shouting match going on and nobody can hear, so that they feel embarrassed. And because that embarrassment now can create a cycle, and you don't really want that. So yeah, so you really want to be, and you want to make sure that you are comfortable, as well as the person is comfortable as well. This is where you have to put on your genius hat, and and I don't want to say, it's almost like, it's not, I don't want to say like you're seducing them, but in a manner that you are going to say, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know why I can't get you on stage. You keep going back down. Okay. Yeah.
right.
That's okay. Good. Yeah. So that they feel comfortable and they know that you have their interests at heart as well.
Mhm.
So, um, so you want to avoid discussing something, during, if you have an incident, you don't want to be discussing anything at that moment. You want
Mhm.
to wait for everything to simmer down and quiet, and then you can go about it. So the second one, the second, advice we have, or not advice, but steps. The second step that we have is express concern and care. I know we touched on it a little bit before, but you want to start your conversation by expressing your concern, that you're concerned about it, you're concerned about the person, you're concerned about their well being, because it's not going to have a positive effect on them, and of course it's going to be harmful to their family as well. So you want to talk about that. You want to talk about how it makes you feel, but at the same time making sure that you think about their care. So you don't want to use I I. You don't want to use the word. Don't make any I statements. You want to use, because if you avoiding the I statement means you're not accusing them. Such I am. You might say, "Well, I am worried about you." We have to choose. We have to choose the word. So I am. When you say I am worried about you, instead of I am worried about you and the impact. So you're forming your conversation of how this is going to have on them. Yeah, what action. So you want to make sure the conversation. I know you deal more with family, Carolina. So can you come in there and maybe touch on that a little bit?
Yes, I mean something really key that you've mentioned is how to approach it. I think a lot of us, and I made that mistake as well with going, I think that you do, or I think that you should. Even worse, like telling them what to do, especially if it's an abuser who has had these traits for so long, or obviously we haven't touched this word, but then the people that are narcissistic, they are going to be very offended and they're going to be on guard and they're going to want to be defensive straight away. So obviously, again, going back to the point number one, safety first. So don't trigger anything, or avoid triggering as much as you can.
Yeah,
So in terms of with how we work with families, is trying to have that dialogue where both parties are heard, And especially when I work with children, we literally listen to both sides. So if you've picture two siblings fighting, or two children fighting at school, we kind of tend to be one-sided, to listen to the person that's crying, for example, not realizing what's happened to the other one. We have to sit and be we have to listen to both stories, to both sides of the story, so that you can get the bigger picture and then correct the behavior. So in this case, is trying to put yourself in a bit of empathy with the abuser, not take over ownership, and not take their faults away, but be like, this is how I feel. This is what's happened. If you done A, B, and C, this is what I feel because of A, B, and C. So it's just expressing what you felt, what you've gone through, and not in an accusing way, to belittle and to squash them, because that's when they're gonna get up, and then the tensions will rise, and things can go wrong. So like I said, in our environment, where we work with kids, in these different scenarios, a lot of children that come from abusive families tend to get angry quicker, or the children themselves, or hit or punch, for example, because they're so used to the environment that no longer differentiates with what's good or what's wrong, what's right or wrong for the children. So we have to try and listen and calm the situation down, and speak to them. We obviously have to use different techniques to approach, but that's just as a ballpark, the sort of things that we need to work towards. And once obviously we understand the child, understand where they're coming from, what they're trying to communicate, which is really key, listening, then obviously we can move forward. And then we use this very similar approaches with the adults in this case, but we have to work with both parents if possible, because that's not the case in our community. Many times one parent is always missing. So we try and look at the family nuclear, who's the supporting parties in for the single mother or for the single father. What can we do as a family, a collective, to support this family? Thank you.
Okay, great. Something you touched on, which I was going to talk about, is avoiding blame and judgment. Yeah, because you touched on it briefly. So you don't want to focus, um, rather than focusing on the behavior, um, rather than focusing on the person, focus on the behavior. And I think that's what you are trying. That's what you're saying. So we focus on the behavior rather than the person. So the behavior is not becoming. Behavior is not nice, or you find a word that you want to use. So their behavior would affect their loved ones. So you need to make them understand how detrimental it is, how it's affecting you, or the family as on a whole. And I think that is very, very clear. So and again, sometimes the abuser may not fully realize what they are doing, the emotional, physical, and psychological effect that they are having on the family. So it's important to draw that, as Carolina was saying. I knew when I was going through my own scenario, I had to choose, because I could see the expression on his face. I could see that was a totally different person. That's not the person I knew. So it's like, okay, do I say anything now that is going to anger the situation even
Exactly.
further?
Hmm.
So I had to, okay, be sensible and just stay quiet. It's not that
The right thing.
yes, I don't like conflict, but at the same time, you have to know when and how and where you take that step as to what you want to say. I don't know
Hmm.
if you have anything else that you want to add to that.
I think, yeah. I mean, I've worked through very similar situations, myself and with others. And for me, what's something key that I took from some of the last situations was, it has to be the right timing and the right mind frame. not only for myself and for the
Mhm.
abusee, but for the abuser, because
Yeah.
like exactly what you just said. Sometimes they're more rallied up than other days. Sometimes they
Mhm.
haven't slept properly, they haven't eaten. I don't know what it is, but they're more angry, susceptible to being angry, more sensitive to any criticism. Like you say, they're gonna pick a fight, especially the times where they don't know they've done wrong, or that they're gonna be that they've hurt more than one person, in this case, like you said,
Mhm.
the family.
Yeah. So
So sometimes for me it's just been a case of leaving space where before having the conversation, finding the right time, where you can see that they're more susceptible to receiving a good conversation or calmer conversation than normal, and then having that talk.
yeah, and I suppose when you're having that conversation, I say, for example, if it's myself and the person who is abusing me, and I find a quiet time where we're sitting and having a coffee or something like that, you
That's
know,
what
you can say maybe, I don't know, hi, hon. Hi, hon. You don't really want to say that sometimes, but hi, hon, especially if you care about the person and you're
mm-hmm.
genuine about it.
Yeah.
Be authentic. Don't force anything. Be authentic.
Yeah.
Because I think that authenticity will come out and they would realize, hey, for example, I'll give you an example later on what I said at one time. Or maybe you want to try something like this. When you get angry, and it's a tone. When you get angry and you hit, it hurts. It hurts people. It hurt the people you care about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reason why I'm asking you to seek help
Mm-hmm.
because it hurts.
Yeah.
And I don't think you really want to hurt anyone. So the tone of voice and the
Mm-hmm.
way you look at the person. So it has to be authentic and it has to be genuine. In
Yeah.
spite of, yes, what they are doing is wrong, but you have got to have that play into that so that you don't arouse anger in them and then they lash out at you. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be is a sensibility here. So you have to be sensible. I mean, other resources, another step that you can take is offer resources. So
Yeah.
provide, maybe you have found some information.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that if you found some information, then provide some information.
Yes.
Provide information about, we don't say
Counseling.
you, say we can
We
seek
could
some
do. Yeah.
professional help.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Instead of say, because if you start pointing the finger, you are being judgmental. Okay, we talk about not being judgmental and not avoiding the blame game. So
Mm-hmm.
I found some professional help so that we can go and seek those help.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Mm-hmm.
you? I don't like. I don't. What do you think? It's not about what do you think. We're going for that help, and if you have to first go down that road and leave you to carry on because you might be able to get some counseling. You can
Mm-hmm.
carry on in that vein.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, yes, I agree. I think in the different scenarios that I've just explained, where I'm gonna put myself as the abusee because I'm giving examples from different cases, but um, it has been a case of again using the right tone. So the tone that you've used right now is really key. Like you just said again in one of the scenarios where you're saying, we're having a cup of tea, so it's kind of just before bed. It's more of a relaxed time. It's not energetic energy. So it would be again the same thing. Hi, love, honey, however the person, whatever you call them. um what happened the other day, I would like to speak about that, if that's okay. Obviously, if they've give consent, yes, you're going to know, they're going to be like, yes, let's talk about that. Or nope, I don't want to hear it. The moment that you hear nope, I'm not going to hear it, or it was your fault, the moment they start accusing you, then you just backtrack and obviously know that that moment is not the right moment to make that conversation. But however, in the other case, if they say yeah, I think, let's have a talk about that, let's see what, I didn't like by A, B, and C. So the moment that they're a bit more open to having that conversation, then yes, so look, the words you chose, or how you said A, B, or C, or the way that you put your hand on me, or anything like that, that hurt me. That
Yeah.
really hurt me, and I felt scared, or I felt I felt like you overtook my space, or there's so many different scenarios that I was going through my head of the different conversations that we've had. But it's just like the let's just say it was an argument. So, but it was a horrible argument. So say, look, the way you spoke to me, I didn't like that, because it made me feel really scared, or it made me feel weak, or it made me feel like you don't love me, or that you don't value my opinion. They're gonna respond, and they're gonna say, um, no, I didn't make you feel like that. Maybe they're going to be like, nope, it was your fault because you started it. Then you're going to again step back. But if they say, yeah, you know what, I took it too far, or A, B, and C, again, the responses that they're going to give you, then you're going to be like, it would be really great if we can sit and speak to somebody to help us get through this rough patch, because I know it's you don't want to do, or you don't want to escalate things, but I think if we get help together, we can move past this stage, so that we can obviously be stronger as a family. Also try and encourage them for in terms of personal growth, because a lot of us are very encouraged about how to get to that next level and how to become that better person as a humans. We want personal growth. So I know that that's another technique that we use. Say, look, I've seeked help, or I've seeked counseling, and I found that it really helped me get past this stage. So you'll give an example of yourself. So when they'll be like, oh, if
Yeah.
you got help and you did something, oh yeah, I saw that change in you. Oh, maybe I should
Mhm.
try it. You kind of prompt them with these little things bit by bit, and then that's how a conversation will. So I've just given kind of a scenario of the types of conversations and where they can go. But it's very key for you to understand the tone of your conversations and where they're going. If they're more
Mhm.
susceptible to saying, yeah, I think it's time for me to get help, or no, then you know where to draw the line for yourself as well, and for your own safety. I think
Especially.
yeah, one of the last points that I just want to point out, which was the first point, is counseling. Counseling is so key, because depending on how bad the abuse has been or how long it's been going, it's not going to be erased with a simple "I'm sorry, this it won't happen again." It has to be
Mm.
by a professional, and counseling
Yeah.
is the way forward. And again, the next step is therapy, or there's different helplines that can help us with that, with those situations. So please do point out those services available. But obviously, for me and for my clients that have used it, it has been in case of saying, I have gone through, or I have done A, B, and C, rather than saying you should do it because you need it. So
Yeah, and it's a case of anger management, is managing that anger. And
exactly.
you have to understand as well what went on before they met you. How did they grow
Oh,
up? So there's a long history that went on before they
so
met you, or you
mhm,
met them. So it's a case of getting to understand the person and understand what they've been through. Don't
that's
make excuses.
no,
Do not make excuses for the behavior,
behavior is not
because
correct.
then you are encouraging that behavior. So don't
Mhm.
make any excuses. At the same time, you're not making excuses, but is your tone, how you speak to them. So I want to take a moment here and say, all of you who are joining us, thank you for being here with us. Sharon, yes, we're reaching out to you. Good evening. You said good evening to us. So we want to say good evening to you. For those of you on Instagram, we want to say thank you. And for those of you on YouTube, we want to say thank you as well. We really do appreciate you being here with us. As Carolina says, there are services that can help. So if you're if you're listening to us from the United States, as I know some of you are, and some of you are listening in the Caribbean, then there are helpline in those areas for you, as well as if you're listening in Singapore or other side of the world, then I know there are helpline there. But in the UK, we have lots of helpline here for you. I will make sure and put those helpline on my website so that at least they're there for you and you can see that. I know the topics we have are really long topics. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but we really want to give you the information. We don't really want to leave you without the information. So I suppose we have three more and we will go through them briefly. The other one was encouraging professional help, which we spoke about, seeking counseling,
Mm-hmm.
seeking some form of therapy. And when you suggest those type of things, you want to be is a specialist. So you want to do a specialist that will deal with the abuser behavior, that they understand the abuser behavior. Um, it can be a therapist, it can be a counselor, and it can be a specialized organization, as Carolina says. She deals with those type of situation. That's not my forte, so I'm not going to say that's my forte. I work with single people who have gone through abuse or want to know how to build their resilience, how to go through that. And I use different models that will help them to see where they are and where they need to be and what is the gap in the middle, so we can work through, find a method that will work for them to give them that transformation that they need. Um, so you want to assure them that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness, because sometimes when we tell you're going for help, we
Feel.
show and think, well, that just shows that I'm weak. No, it's a
Mm-hmm.
sign of strength. That's showing how strong you are. It's a sense of strength. So you want to encourage them. I don't know if you experience that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed. I think for us it has been a case of um, uh, just trying to shift our mindset, um, as an abusee, and obviously I'm speaking on behalf of the different people I've dealt with. You sometimes feel that if you tell the abuser you need help, they feel little or they feel small, and that's, as an abuser, that's the last thing that you want to feel. So it's a case of like I said, in a way, working like a partnership. Look, this will help us as a family, or this will help you be a better
better
member,
parent.
stronger a better parent, a better
Mhm.
partner, to make us stronger. You see that there's a
Mhm.
difference where it feels like
Yeah.
teamwork rather than just pointing the finger.
Yeah, yeah. I I said I would give you a little scenario. I remember when I was hit. I mean, I was really hit. Um, he was in the army, and I had a baton. Oh my gosh, my arms were swollen. It was so painful. I had to leave home, and I was going to go to my auntie. And we call our elders auntie, and I was going to walk after midnight
Right.
hours. I could get rape, I could get whatever attack on the road. I didn't care. I
Mm,
just left the house. In any
mm,
case, I ended up in the hospital, and they look after me. And one of the doctors was going to the same church that I was attending, and in casualty, and they asked me what's wrong and why are you in casualty at this time. And I told her what happened, so she took me aside, dealt with me and everything, and then said, you're not walking, you're not going anywhere, you're going straight back home. And I was like, oh gosh. So anyway, I ended up back home. And
right.
then we had a counseling session with our pastor and our pastor's wife. And while we were there talking and everything like that, something he said, and oh my word, I was like, excuse me? If you touch me, that was my action. If you touch me again, I promise you, I promise you, you would never lift your hand again to touch another woman. I'm, I'm laughing,
Mm,
but it was not a laughing matter.
mm,
I can smile about it,
yeah,
um,
because you've healed.
because it relieves. Yeah, and I remember our pastor saying, he said, "Oh, I didn't know you were thinking that way." And the pastor said, "Excuse me, you hitting her, and you don't think that she's thinking that way?" And then he said to me, "Please don't pray that prayer." Please don't pray that prayer. I was dead serious. You don't know how I get this big. You don't know anything about me. You don't. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think I'm your floor mat? You have to, sometimes you have to show that you are strong as well, but you have to do it in, as you say, in a safe place. So I was in a safe place with other people, but it was the pastor and his wife. I was on my own. So now I can be, I'm taking my power back now. No, you're not going to handle this one. I'm taking it back. So it was, if you touch me again, I'll make sure your hands stay in the air and you will not touch another woman. You never hit another woman. And I was dead serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was me. That was my scenario. So
Wow.
I'm telling you my scenario. So don't
Yeah.
try that on your
No,
own.
not
Don't do
especially
it on your
alone,
own.
no. I mean,
No.
yeah, we've had a couple of scenarios where women obviously have tried to stand up, especially to the man, which is normally a lot stronger, a lot bigger, or more muscular, and obviously
Yeah.
that doesn't go well, especially where they are a lot more violent as well. Um,
Yeah.
but but at the same time, I have had other people that have um being determined with that determination, you will not ever touch me again, and they've had the
Mhm.
courage to leave the scenario and get help and
Yeah.
obviously move in with family or refuge, which is the helplines that I would like to mention. But it's really really tough when you're in that situation, because you
Mhm.
either feel really weak and you feel like you can't stand up, you can't talk, you can't say a thing to the abuser, or you get all your courage and all your rage and all your anger and go at them, kicking, punching, throwing things yourself because of how you feel. And then it endangers a lot of families, and many women end up in hospital. I know that it's
Mhm.
very common, well, not common, but it's more it's happening to men now a lot more as well. So I know that there's a lot of men that don't feel like they can speak up to the woman because she's a lot more abusive, or not just verbally but physically. So I
Yeah.
know that there is also help for men. I know there's
Mhm.
less charities for men, because it happens to 1 in 3
Yeah.
women, but at the
Yeah.
same time there is definitely available help for men, and obviously for them to be able to get their power back and find a voice. That's the most
Yes. It's
key.
it's important. You have a voice, and you have to use your voice. You
Hmm.
know, because when I did that, after I made my point that this was never going to happen again, I was making plans how I was going to leave.
Hmm.
you know, because when you stand up like that, then they realize, oh my word,
She's
you
serious.
know, she's serious. But then you don't know what next is coming. So
Exactly.
you want to be very, very careful. So
I'm very
I made
ready.
my plans. I made my plans already. I was leaving.
Yeah.
I was leaving, and I made sure the most important things that I would need, which was my passport and my birth certificate. I didn't care about clothes, I didn't care about anything else. That was out of the house.
Hmm.
Yeah. If I wanted to travel, I had my passport.
Yeah.
If I needed to have anything else, my birth certificate could say who I am. Okay.
Hmm.
So both things, both was
Yeah.
essential for me. Nothing else matters because
Yeah.
I left everything and started all over again. And you can too.
Yeah.
You can too. It's difficult. It's much more difficult when you have children because I didn't have any kids. So it was just me. But when you have children, it's a different scenario. So seek help. Do not stay there. So this was me setting my boundaries. We
Yes.
spoke about boundaries in other episodes. So you
Hmm.
have to set your boundaries. If you don't set your boundaries, and it is best to set your boundaries before you enter into that relationship.
Oh, yes. That's
Because
key.
if you allow them to do things and they oh no, they like, oh, I'm just playing. Haha. No, 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 no.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
looks like play.
Yeah.
Because the moment you allow that, "No, I'm just
He'll
playing."
go further and further.
No. Let's
Yeah.
go further. It goes further and
Mm.
further. So, stop. Please don't do that. I don't
Yes.
like it. So
Hmm.
you need to stop it at the dating stage before you even get
Yes.
into a
Please.
full on,
Yeah.
full blown relationship. You need to
Yes.
stop it
Hmm.
because if you don't, it's like, but you never had a problem with that before.
Yeah.
What's your problem now?
Hmm.
Can you
So,
see that? Can you see my
yeah.
reaction?
Yeah.
But you never had a problem before.
Yeah. I've heard
What's your
so
problem?
many
So
stories
what's your
of people.
problem now? And the
Exactly,
attitude,
and
the
then they
action they
continue.
give
Yeah,
you, and then
yeah,
you like, well, no,
yeah.
no, no play. That's no
That's
play. Don't hit
something
me.
key that you mentioned there, about the escalation and how it's grown from dating, or
Mm,
from courting to a
courting.
relationship, because most women that have spoken to me, especially women and men, but they've said they weren't like this before. They used to be amazing. They were lovely. They used to treat me like a queen, or like a, I was their prince. And then what happened? And they changed. What happened is that you allowed them to one step one step more each time. So you know exactly what Verna said. If you allow them to push your shoulder as a play fight, and then next time they've done something more and something more, it's that increment of boundary
Yeah,
stepping, you know.
yeah. They're testing. They're
Yeah,
testing you. They're testing how far they can go.
what they can do.
And yeah, and
What they
you
can
need to put a stop to it. You
do.
need to put a stop to it. So set your boundaries. Set your boundaries very early. Don't wait to put a boundary in place.
Yes, and
Yeah,
then look
yeah,
for the
Sharon.
help.
Yeah, yeah. Set your boundaries. Put boundaries in place immediately.
Mhm.
So it come to an end is like, okay, so you have a follow up. So continue with the support.
Yes.
Continue. Go to the follow up. See the counselor. Get the advice that you need. Because remember, you're on a journey. Yeah, you're on a journey, and it's either they're on the journey together with you. I'll tell you
Mhm.
another scenario when he did that to me. And you red flags. You notice the red flags, my dear. If you're a man and you're listening, notice the red flag. If you're a female, we know we have females listening. Watch the red flags.
Mhm.
I saw the way he spoke to his mom and his sister, and I had to take a step back, and we were about to get married. Okay, the wedding wasn't too far; it was a military wedding, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I remember having to go down to the military base. They had to see me, they had to know me, they had to know everything because he's in the military. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, all these questions for me. What about him? I was told that if anything go wrong, he have a place to stay. He can, and I'm thinking, well, what if
What happens to me?
what nothing didn't play out? And I'm thinking, what happened to me? You
Mhm.
understand? And when I saw the way he spoke to his mom and his sisters, like I pulled myself back and I was like, oh my word. And then I said to him later, I said, that's your mom. How could you speak to your mom like
Yeah,
that? If you can speak to your mom like that, oh my gosh.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine what's going to happen to me. That should have told me a lot, and I should have just walked away.
exactly.
And
We
then
don't
the
do
mother
that.
stepped in. The mother stepped in and said, oh no, that's how we carry on. Huh? What?
Mhm.
That's how you carry on? That's how
Mhm.
you allow your son to speak to you?
Mhm.
Oh, I had to take a deep breath. I had
Yeah,
to take a deep breath. So please
yeah,
notice the red flags.
yeah.
When those
What's
red
your gut
flags show
telling you as well? Got an
up,
intuition.
yeah,
Sometimes we have that knot in our stomach, and we've seen something wrong, and we just kind of be like, push it down and be like, nope, no, we
yeah,
like them, or
um,
they've got A, B, and C, and we realize
yeah,
we just push it
yeah,
to one side
yeah,
sometimes. Your gut is
yeah.
telling you something for a reason.
We ignore it. We ignore the signs.
Mm,
Please do not ignore the signs. I
listen,
ignored the signs.
I
I
think so
ignored
good
it.
what you
It
said.
was right in front of me, and I
Hmm.
ignored it. I think it was about 2 weeks before the wedding.
Wow.
I
And you
ignored
managed
it.
to, yeah. We
Okay.
do that. We
And
do
then
that.
and the night before the wedding, he hits me.
Wow. Ah, Lord.
Night before the wedding, he
That's
hit
so
me.
difficult. That is
And
so
my auntie was like, don't worry, he's just jealous. I'm going back to England. He's
Oh
just
my,
jealous because we're spending a lot of time together.
yeah, that's the
Okay?
community we're surrounded by sometimes, and our community says it's acceptable, and it's not
It's
acceptable.
acceptable. It's not acceptable. So don't do it to please anyone. Don't do it while people are traveling from here and there because people
Mhm.
were traveling from everywhere and it
Yeah,
was a military wedding. Okay? So
imagine.
it was like, oh, who am I going? I'm going to shame him. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do it. No, don't.
And you're not going to fix them. Remember that if you're going to
No,
get
you can't.
married and thinking you're going to fix
You
them
can't.
after the wedding, it's not going to change.
You
It's going to
can't.
get
You
worse
can't.
if you haven't
You
addressed it
can't.
before.
So I just want to say, I hope that you found this very informative, and it's been very helpful, that we have given you some tools and some steps that you can take to work out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and the manner in which you are going to do it, because you have to be careful. You have to safeguard yourself, safeguard, if you have children, safeguard your children. Is very, very important, that
Mhm.
you do not stay because you're trying to keep the children safe, because we have seen so many women get killed because they stayed in a relationship
Mhm.
because of the children.
Yeah.
Okay, seek help. There is help out there.
Yes.
Seek help. As I said, I will make sure all these resources get onto the website for you, so that you have those different helplines that you can call. You have helpline for men that men can call, as well as phone lines that you can call. So you have the national domestic line, you have place of safety. Going to make sure all of that is on the website. So if you need it, it's right there and you can get it. Is there anything else you want to say before we
Yes, I've got
close?
a couple of points to close off with. First, I've got a bit of a statement that I've written that I want to obviously just highlight. The safety of the victim is paramount. Um, Direct confrontation with the abuser might not be as safe, and it may not work. It might not be effective the first time that you try to do it. Working through these different scenarios and the different flags that have been brought up with professionals might be the better way to start, including having counseling from your pastors or from your mosque leaders, whichever religion that you do follow. Speak to them, speak to somebody you confide in, to try and get a bigger picture of how you can help them. And obviously, if you do go to church, which is something that Verna mentioned, that this happens in churches, this happens in mosques, it happens in all different religions. It's not something that because you went to church, he's
Isolated.
not going to ever
Mhm.
lift his hand up to you. It happens everywhere. So if you can get leaders that can help you, if you can both together go seek, couples counseling, other professional services, then please do. And if this journey does start and they do get help, remember patience and persistence. Nothing is going to change in 15 minutes, nothing is going to change in
Mhm.
24 hours. It is a journey. It's a journey of healing. It is a journey of determination. It's a journey of willpower from both sides. So do be patient. And obviously, if you've both chosen to get help and to take the necessary steps to make things better, then just give it some time. And very key to what Verna said at the beginning, you have to realize that some of this abuse comes from generations before us. So some of everything that's being exhibited is not just them and what they lived with in their years of life. It's coming from before. So sometimes it takes a bit longer. But with the professional, with the counselor, with the pastors, with the leaders, you might get there a bit quicker and in a safer environment. And then just to finish off
Okay.
with what Verna just said, I want to give two some advice lines. One that I haven't mentioned before was just a men's advice line. It's in the UK, it's called mensadviceline.org.uk. And then obviously Verna will put on the rest, which we have, such as the national helpline, victimsupport.org. You can check out citizen advice and the government websites, which give you all the different
Yeah.
links to all the other safety nets that we have in the UK. And I just wanted to say thank you, because this subject is very dear. The reason why we work with
Okay.
a lot of single parents households is because of these breakups, because of these abusive breakups. Mums choose to go away, dads choose to be single parents because of these scenarios, and that is why we work with these families to try and rebuild the life post abuse and post all the different things that we've mentioned. So thank you so much.
So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for your support,
Mhm.
and just want to do. We want to give back. Give back because I have I have gained so much, and this is my mission. My mission is to help as many women. I'd like to help 100,000 women, and men save themselves, build resilience, get their power back, and use their voice because we all have a voice and we always given a voice to use. We are not shrinking violets. We are all unique. We are diamonds. We
Mhm.
are diamonds, okay? We are precious. All right. So take care. Until next time. See you soon. And God bless. Love you all.
Bye.